Vanessa Feltz.
Call 0800 731 2000.
And we're absolutely delighted to say that we've received a phone call from the lady who taught Harry Kane and his lovely partner Katie at Wise Hippo Hearts how to have a natural birth. Her name is Sophie Campbell Sinclair from Bishop Stortford in Hertfordshire. She joins me on the show. Hi, Sophie.
Hi, Vanessa.
How nice of you
Morning.
to call. We're delighted to hear from the woman at the heart of this story.
Oh, that's nice. Thank you.
So tell me what it was that you taught. What do you teach?
I teach the Wise Hippo Birthing Programme, and it's a full birthing programme that encourages women to tap into their birthing instincts and learn a skill of breathing techniques and visualizations that make them feel calm and relaxed when they birth their children.
And tell us a bit about that. When you say tap into their natural sort of instincts, birthing instincts, is that the kind of thing when we hear about, prowling around and squatting down and all that kind of stuff?
Is really important, but just to trust really that birth is a very normal and natural event, and millions of women around the world are having drug-free, intervention-free births, and I think it's wonderful that he's sharing that news, and when we change the way women view birth, the way they birth will change. So I think it's really wonderful that he's tweeted and shared and the fact that he's being criticised is just amazing to me. I think she did an amazing job, and I think she's a brilliant role model for birthing women in this country and around the world.
And do you think the reason, though, that there has been a sort of outcry is a sort of jealousy, really?
Probably, yeah. I think everybody loves a trophy for their birth story, and why not have a positive one? The day that we birth our children stays with us forever, and how wonderful for Kate that she achieved a drug-free, intervention-free birth that she's proud to share.
I suppose lots of women would have liked to have had a birth like that. They would have liked to be able to tell a lovely, a pleasing, gratifying, happy birth story, but instead their birth is a combination of sort of shock and disappointment, and there's pain, and then there's a rush down a corridor for an emergency cesarean, and then they might read this and they might think, well, bully for you, it wasn't my fault that I couldn't do it.
Absolutely, and I understand that more than anyone because I've had 2 births.
Yeah.
I had a first birth was full of intervention and drugs.
Yes.
But I knew wholeheartedly that at the base of that was my fear. And when a woman goes into labour and she's fearful, all her body chemistry changes. So she starts to produce adrenaline and cortisol, and that inhibits the natural production of oxytocin, which needs to rise in her body to produce her labour and make progression. And that is a very vicious circle to break when you're in labour. It tends to mean that the woman gets panicked, she asks for pain relieving drugs, and then there needs more drugs to speed up labour. But when you break it this side and she goes into that with confidence, she doesn't go into that fear, flight, freeze response, and all the right birth hormones will be produced. And the most important one, of course, being Mother Nature's pain relief, which is our endorphins. And many women will completely report that they have a euphoric birth, that they go to this amazing place of La La Land. And I think the most important thing that I wanted to say is that whatever turn your birth takes, if you have learned emotional control and techniques that we teach in the Wise Hippo, these are transferable skills. You can transfer them to theatre, you can transfer them to intervention. Every single one of my clients reports that this course was invaluable, that they transferred those skills, and they still feel like they had a positive birth if it meant they went to theatre or they still had intervention, because they know it was the right birth for them on the day. They know they did everything right.
Yes.
They remained in control, and they use these techniques in different situations. And that's a positive birth story,
Give us
isn't
an
it?
example of one of the techniques. I know it's hard to do it on the radio, but just so we can grasp what you're talking about.
Yeah, that's fine. So we have 6 MP3s of the course. One of them, which I think is probably the most important, is Bond and Breathe.
Yeah.
So it's written with an intention to your subconscious brain that every muscle group in your body correlates to a number.
Yeah.
So throughout the MP3, the numbers will correlate to a space in your body. And when you use that number in your labour, it's an automatic response of the subconscious to let go of any tension in that muscle group.
Right.
So we use the numbers 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, relax. And when women say that to themselves before a surge starts in their body, every muscle group lets go. And that's what's important. The uterus is a big muscle, so it's working really powerfully on the day. So it's really important that we're loose and we're limp and that muscle's getting good blood supply, and then we see progression. So, so we use lots of visualizations. A popular one for us is women visualizing waves rolling in and colours. So lots and lots of different techniques.
And Harry Kane does tweet at, hashtag hypnotherapy, doesn't he? So is that really what you're doing? Do you call it hypnotherapy?
We do call it hypnobirthing. I think a lot of people hate that word. They think it's some sort of airy-fairy technique. So we prefer to call ours a birthing programme. But it is a form of hypnosis, whatever you want to call it, deep relaxation, meditation. It's all the same thing. It's about coming out of our conscious brain and reprogramming our subconscious to learn that birth is a very normal and natural event, so that when we go into labour, we are able to stay calm and relaxed and in control.
Well done, and congratulations on yet another beautiful baby born virtue of your technique. Thank you, Sophie Campbell Sinclair there of Bishop Stortford, who taught the Canes at Wise Hippo Hearts.